Hi, welcome. Today I'm going to give you an overview on the KBO and KApps. So what is the KBO? The KBO is a Bluetooth sensor bow that detects and translates bow movement and technique into control signals. So what this means is that you can actually use your bow to control different parameters for signal processing or even preset recalling in KApps and in other applications, whatever it is that you have available to control. How it works? Well, the KBO has a number of sensors. It has an antenna that runs inside the bow stick. And the bow stick, these bows are made out of Kevlar carbon fiber. It also has a grip pressure sensor. It has a hair tension sensor, and it has an infrared sensor, and it also has 3 accelerometers inside the frog, one for the x-axis, one for the y-axis, and one for the z-axis. So the bow communicates with the emitter that you install on your instrument. In this case, I'm working with a violin, and I have installed the emitter on this Zeta violin, and it goes right under the fingerboard, as we explained in the other video. And the package, the KBO system, comes with an emitter, 2 infrared sticks, 2 IR sticks, the KBO, a programming cable, which allows you to update the firmware on both the emitter and the bow, and it also comes with a power cable for both the violin and the emitter, and the way you recharge the battery on both of these devices is through USB. So let's get started. We now have a better idea of how the bow works. Now we go to KApps, which is our software part of the whole package. So we open the KBO folder and start KApps. The first window that comes up is the KApps window. Here you have access to all of the applications that are available to you in the software suite. So there is KData. KData is the application that displays the status of the sensors on the bow. It also manages the connection to your KBO through Bluetooth. It also has a calibration. You can calibrate your bow differently depending on what the piece you're building is going to be like. You can make a calibration be a little bit more sensitive than another one, and you can save all of these as presets. Also on KData you have a meter display of the bow and emitter charge. So here we can see the battery life of both the bow and the emitter. Then we have MIDI OSC routing. MIDI OSC routing has 3 different sections. The first section is the MIDI input, and here you can select up to 10 MIDI inputs. The MIDI out section allows you to send out the data coming in from the bows to different MIDI devices. Then there's the OSC output, Open Sound Control. You can send out the sensor data through our OSC monitor to any other application, including Max MSP and others. There's the preset modulation. You can navigate the presets on all of these different applications as well as main presets by using your KBO, and this is how you would do it. We have the main preset section. If you click on the drop-down menu, you can see that we have 10 different factory presets. You can save up to 999 of them. These, however, the factory presets are locked, and the way you can tell which ones are which is that the locked ones have an asterisk. And then we have the actual applications We have K-tone. K-tone is a signal processing application that gives you compressor, limiter, EQ, filter, modulation, distortion, reverb, delay. There's also the modulation. In here you can use any of the bow sources, which are the sensor data or the derived data, to control the parameters in K-tone. Then we have K-loop, which is our looping station. Here you can loop up to 4 tracks, and we will go more in depth on K-loops and the rest of the applications in future tutorials. We also have K-loop modulation, which again uses both sources and derived data to control and modulate different parameters in K-loop. Then we have the phase vocoder. You can load up to 6 audio files, and it has its respective modulation where you can control the different parameters on the phase vocoder by using your bow. Then we have the triggers, and here you can adjust the sensitivity and the articulation of these different triggers to use in KABS or to send out as MIDI notes. We have gestures. You can actually train simple gestures to this application and save them so that you can add to your list of bow sources and modulation sources. Then we have surround. This is a spatial placement of sound application and its respective modulation. We have K-Live, which is our mixer, and it also displays the status and all the different applications that are running at the same time. We have K-Data, and you can see the display of the sensors. We have K-tone, gestures, K-loop, triggers, phase vocoder. You can see what presets you have loaded, what the status is of all of this live. You also have the faders for each of the applications, as well as a master fader, and you have a mute button, trim, and a 3-band EQ. To the bottom right, you have a CPU meter, and you also have the audio setup button. This is the first thing you should do when opening KABS, is to set up your audio device, select your driver, your input, as well as your sampling rate and vector size. And that is it for our overview. We will have more in-depth descriptions and explanations of all of these different applications on future videos. Thank you.